Hi guys, welcome back. Game number 7 for your boy today, but this one is a little bit different to what we were doing before. So this one's going to be game number 1 of the season 7 TTS finals cut. So top cut. This one we got Xavier Protocols versus Morgan Reed. So it should be really top quality. Got Farmer in the co-host with me today.
What is going on, Jaren? Thanks so much for getting me on.
No worries, mate. Thank you for coming to help me. Brain's already melted today from Marvel. So, well, I actually had a dream. I had to sleep before and I was dreaming Marvel. So, I'm in that full Marvel mode. So, I did get a little bit of pre-game done. I'm sharing my screen to you. I was about to say, I'll tell you which side I'm starting on, but I'll just show you. So we're looking at Morgan's roster currently. So we're looking at solo Guardians of the Galaxy. So there's no more Mystique sitting in this roster from what I can see. Which I actually kind of like that he's just going all in on it, right? I feel like this is playing with his heart and not his head. Because if he was playing with his head, I think he'd be like Sam Spam or Brotherhood or something along those lines. What do you reckon?
Yeah, he did say as much. We recorded a podcast a few hours ago, and he said that he's he's going with he's bringing the girl that he took to the dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he got with Guardians here, so he's gonna see what he can do with Guardians all the way. He admitted it may not be the smartest choice, but we'll see. This game is very much going to come down to what crises are drawn in this priority role, because there are excellent matchups for each player and they are not the same matchups.
No, they are not. Give me 1 second. Morgan's just asked us to jump in the room for a second. So let's find out what's going on there and then we'll get back into it. So I'm just going to cut out for a second for you, okay?
Sounds good.
Of course, it will be something for me to. I'm not used to the clock as well, so we'll see.
I played my round 6 game.
Hey, boys.
Practice, and we kept forgetting it all the bloody time. So
Yeah.
The problem is you zoom in and then you don't have it in your eye line. I find I zoom in looking at stuff and I forget about it, and you're like,
only there was some way of displaying the clock like around the edges in a cacophony of color.
then I'll get overloaded with a cacophony of color.
You can use the streamer view, right?
I hate the stream view. Hey Jay, are you there, mate?
Yes, sir.
So just seeing if you are set up and ready to go.
Ready to go.
All right. Hey Jacob, there's only I don't know how you feel about some of the maps. There's only 2 maps that I despise. The first one is
I'm happy for either of us to veto the map just for whatever. Most of the maps are fine, but occasionally you get a random one.
so there's only 2, and it's Cassie's Playground. I think it's just childish, horrible. And the second one is, you know, the battle world where it has all the different crazy colours on the bottom.
Agreed. Let's bid on that too.
Yep. Is there any ones that you don't like?
Don't spring to mind.
Right. I'll just wrap up a random. Cool. Any dramas with that one?
I don't think so. No, it looks fine.
Cool. Just checking out the right roster. That all looks good to me. Yep, it's got Quicksilver, so it has to be it. Spicy choice. All right. Any dramas with any of the terrain? I think it all looks fine.
I think the buildings both are size 4 and they're actually quite big for size 4. Something to reckon.
Yeah, 4s. Yep, that looks fine.
I don't think there's anything particularly interesting to say about the terrains there.
No. All right. Well, it's good to finally play a game, and I wish you luck.
Yeah, cool. And best of luck.
Thank you. Too. A mighty 2.
Your crit beats my no crit.
Aha. I'll go the secures, good sir.
You do surprise me.
Yeah, let's just hope I didn't rip up Infinity. I ripped up Infinity.
And Lucky Virus.
Ooh, spicy.
I just am thinking now.
Yep.
I think we're going to go. Ooh. Anyway, okay. I think we're going to go 17.
Okay. What side of the board would you like?
I'll dive out of you, boys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, I am back. They were just
Hello.
I was just making sure we're ready to go. I was like, yeah, we're ready to go. So Morgan won priority and pick secures, and we're playing at 17 threat on Deadly Legacy and Infinity.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know if Morgan was happy about seeing Infinity. I think because he wanted to see something else that wasn't that. I think that's probably like literally the worst case he could have picked up.
What were his other two secures, Jay?
I didn't actually get to look because we were literally about to go through them, but Morgan just texted saying disaster secure. So I'm going to say that of the three of them, that's the worst possible one he could have got.
Yeah, this is not an ideal situation at all for Morgan because Thanos can get into the middle of the board basically and move Morgan off of all of those secure points. The numbers are going to be. It's going to be tough. This is an uphill. This is an uphill fight for Morgan for sure, especially because, you know, there's no that legacy virus is just going to be really slow.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Xavier's running what Criminal Syndicate and Black Order, is it, or just has that dirty Thanos sitting at the back end of it?
Yeah, and Morgan's going to have a really tough time, sort of. I don't know, figuring out which he has to make an educated guess basically on what Jacob is gonna do here, you know, and he's got to decide. Being this dual affiliated Black Order, is he going? It matters most for Morgan's tactics card selections because if he can sort of try and hedge against Criminal Syndicate or hedge against Black Order. And it all depends on how much prep Morgan has had for this particular draw. And traditionally, Morgan has been pretty good at, figuring out what his opponent will play at any given threat or crisis combination.
Yep.
On the other side, things are a lot easier for Jacob because he knows Morgan is sort of stuck into Guardians. And so what Jacob probably has to identify here is Morgan going to go wide Guardians or narrow Guardians, right?
Yep.
Is Morgan going to go, spread the ball, as you will, around?
Yep. Which they can at 17. They can go about, 6 wide at 17? 7 wide if they've gone on actual hardcore Guardians roster?
Or you can, he can bring Hulk, he can bring Jugs, right? So that would be 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I guess he couldn't bring Hulk and Jugs. It's too low. But, he could bring one of the big boys and just say, you know what, I am going to try and slug this. The problem with bringing either of them is Thanos can just control them into that stratosphere.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly an
ideal
easy decision.
No, that's difficult. I did watch, so we just did my tournament today, and I was watching Hulk at one stage just absolutely bully an opponent that did not have an answer for him. So definitely having Thanos sitting in that central area, just, dictating who is going to finish their round on a point or who isn't, it's going to be really difficult for him, especially if he decides to, like you said, put all of his control might into that Hulk and send him into orbit or into the corner of the map somewhere.
It's tough because Jacob also has to decide whether he wants to do Criminal Syndicate as well, because he's got 4 points that he can count as double for, and Criminal Syndicate has some of the best legacy virus play.
Yes, absolutely, because they can move it around.
Right, because they can pass it around and toss it and all that stuff. So Jacob's decision on which he wants to run is also, I don't know what he is most comfortable with each of the different crises combinations. He could win with Black Order, and I could see him winning with Criminal Syndicate as well. I would be inclined to think that if he can be killy enough against Guardians, Black Order might be a better bet, but traditionally Black Order has been a really bad draw into Guardians. We know that because they have trouble dealing with how wide they can go. So I feel like on this particular one, we'll see Jacob go Criminal Syndicate.
I agree. I think I'm tending to agree with you there. I've always found Criminal Syndicate to be exceptional on Infinity because, like you said, especially if they've got some characters sitting around. We didn't get to see his roster, and by the time we look it up, they'll probably have decide what they're playing. But if he's got a couple of characters sitting around like Lizard and stuff, he can basically contest Morgan from round 1 and make his life hell. We got
and more than that too. Traditionally, the Guardians have had absolutely abysmal control. But the thing is, if Jacob decides to go the Criminal Syndicate route, and Morgan calls that bluff and brings Hulk, Hulk can actually be a really good answer to Criminal Syndicate. Just punch him.
Yeah.
Because Criminal Syndicate does not have very effective offense. But if Morgan takes Hulk and Jacob brings Black Order, Corvus will just get rid of that 6 threat. Right quick. It'll take 2 seconds.
At least there's no more all you've got, but it's still going to be very fast.
Right. It's going to be really, really fast. So this is sort of them staring each other in the eyes and trying to figure out what the other one's going to do, because it matters a lot for these choices.
So if you are Xavier or Morgan, we're about to find out. I won't even bother asking the question. We've got some Corvus Proxima and Criminal Syndicate. So the best of both worlds. We've got Jugs.
Yeah, a Criminal Syndicate Black Order is really strong because Flash, because he'll get the benefit of those bodies and the punchy killiness of Corvus Proxima.
Just in case there is a Hulk or a Juggernaut sitting here. So we got Morgan is Star-Lord, Groot, Rocket, probably one of the best cores in the game right now, with Jugs and Voodoo. We've got Do You Know Who I Am? Fantastic card. Sacrifice, Deadly Duo, Field Dressing, and Escort to Safety.
Escort to Safety is a pretty excellent card for dealing with the Corvus Proxima murder train. It's basically Gwen's lifesaver for 3 power.
Fantastic. I was about to ask about that. It's a card that we haven't seen in, well, I've not even had on stream ever. So you have Corvus with Reality. Sorry, go ahead.
It's really, really good Black Order tech. The thing Morgan's going to have to worry about now is this Infinity, the virus being passed around, and Black Cat's ability to steal it and grab it and play, that where's the ball game with everyone.
Right.
Sorry, keep going. Let's talk about...
That's all right. So we got Corvus Proxima. Obviously, we've got Reality sitting there. Black Cat, Bullseye, and Kingpin. So we do have some quite wishy characters sitting around, but, a lot of punch, a lot of staying power in Kingpin and Corvus and Proxima. We've got all according to plan, so Morgan is probably never going to have priority. We're going to have climbing gear, advanced R&D, so we're probably looking at a power shift to Black Cat to get that steal online turn 2. Med pack and brace for impact. Was brace for impact going to be useful here? It could be.
Depends if...
I think Indomitable would have been stronger there.
It might have been. Do You Know Who I Am is really strong for... it really depends on how you want to counter Do You Know Who I Am, right? Yep. You can counter it through Indomitable to prevent a character from being moved, or you can use Brace to prevent the damage from like a massive building getting hucked at you.
Exactly.
I don't know what the sizes are for these middle buildings. If any of them are 4.
Both are 4.
Oh, they're both right.
4.
So that makes sense because Jacob doesn't want Jugs to huck a size 4 building at one of his people for 5 damage coming in. That could, that's a dazed bullseye right there. Right?
Yep. I will point out just a couple of things. So I was playing Guardians for the whole season. There's a couple of things that if I was a Guardians player, I would be irritated about on this map. So so my finals for my tournament was actually played on this map, and I know for a fact that Legacy Cure can be grabbed without going on the building from Jacob's side. Which means you've got a massive line of sight blocker. Number 2 is this car where the bottom serum canister is range 1. You can't sit behind the trunk of it. So Rocket can't get the big line of sight block and sit on it. So he's got to kind of sit within range of being shot. So, you would do exactly what Morgan's doing right now, which is just put Groot and Rocket on the top end where you've got just a bit more stuff, a bit more protection. You're not going to have a building just sitting on top of a car sitting on top of the point that you can have used against you. That's pretty much it from my perspective. If you're Xavier, is there anything like, have you got much criminal syndicate experience? At least, do you see any alarm bells flagging for yourself? Things that would annoy you having to deal with?
Well, you always want to look at with criminal syndicate the backstops and the the ways in which you can get moved, or bullied or pushed around and everything. Remember, Jugs has that excellent push on his attack.
Yeah.
And Morgan is placing Jugs on that other side of the table. So, I think Morgan needs to decide. And remember, Jugs can get around this table pretty easily.
Oh, yeah.
Effectively.
Yeah.
So a lot of times on these B maps, you're sort of picking a side, and that's your attrition side. But because of the way the virus is, Morgan has to battle on both ends of the table because he cannot allow Jacob to get 2 of these things off the rip. Because if he does, if Jacob is able to get both of these viruses, he's going to be really, really close. And I think Jacob will want to remove Voodoo as quickly as possible. Jugs is really strong, but you can kind of ignore him a little bit, but you cannot allow Voodoo and Brother Daniel to remove, your ability to contest these points.
Absolutely. We've seen him just line up Corvus across from Jugs and Voodoo, so Proxima sitting just in the middle. Do you think Morgan's going to go straight up and grab the center one with Star-Lord? I mean, probably would say yes. It's fairly safe for it.
I mean, it's a little... what is good here for Morgan is he doesn't have to worry about the... not the mothership play, right?
Yep. I like this.
Okay, well, yeah, so Groot coming up really fast, really early here and grabbing that virus is super smart.
Yeah.
Groot is really, really strong.
There's no threat of being Corvus on that side. Groot can largely ignore Bullseye as well.
Yeah, I mean, Groot's an excellent Bullseye counter. And I'm not sure where Black Cat got deployed. It might be
dead center, yeah, just next to Proxima.
Yeah, I think this was the best move that Morgan could make right here. Is just running up real quick, grabbing that virus, and seeing what happens. And here's gonna be some map experience here. He might cross Bullseye around over the other side and grab that while still being in full cover. And then what this will allow is Bullseye should be able to just, do his thing from back there.
Exactly. I mean, he's kind of...
Which is really nice.
Even if he ends up fighting from that central area, even if he's just sitting on top of the building, he's just sitting cover the whole game, right? It can be very difficult.
Yeah.
But you can see there, like, as a line of sight block, it's just savage. That building is just in a really, like, it really favors the second player getting the pick table side if there's a central objective.
Yeah, I would even call that poorly designed. I don't love... I don't know. I guess it's not poor design. I personally don't care for it. I'll say that.
I just noticed that we're running chess clocks as well. I texted Artie. I was trying to find out every time I turned off the chess clocks because nobody ever uses them. He turned it back on. I texted him. I was like, "What's going on? Why do you keep turning these back on?" He's like, "Oh, we're using them." I'm like, "Oh, okay, interesting." Yeah. So is that a rule for the Top Cup this time round, or is this just these two?
I think it might be.
Interesting.
I think it might be.
That's
Which
good.
is good because, I mean, we know that there's a maximum like this game is going to go.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, from about 10 minutes ago, we had BS11 Gamer, which is, I've seen him a few times in our Marvel streams, but called it from straight away. He said, "Let's go, Morgan." He said that central building is really going to be nasty for Morgan. And, yeah, we're already seeing that it is extremely annoying.
So there are a few things that Morgan can do as well. Like, he is debating this. One thing that plays in his advantage is that legacy virus in the center, the bottom of your screen right now.
Yep.
He could maybe choose to wait on that a little bit and kind of bait Corvus up into grabbing it.
Yeah.
This is smart here. Getting Star-Lord on this side, getting potentially a little bit of long-range cover, and just saying, hey, if you're going to go up and grab that legacy virus, or if you're going to be in that infinity formula, I'm going to just shoot you.
You need a fully auto, and that's probably going to give you a slow. If you get a wild, you get a slow or a bleed or something nasty to limit it down. Even the shock would be kind of annoying for Corvus.
The shock's really annoying for Corvus.
Take him down to a 4-dice strike, right? you kind of want, like, Corvus is probably not going to be the one that grabs that, I would think. But if now that the two of them are picked up, right, we've only got one left.
Yeah.
I'd be kind of happy to see Corvus run up there and grab that, because I know that Jugs comes up and punches hard enough, usually, with Winging It tokens, which he has, to actually, you know, do some sizable damage into him.
Well, the bigger thing here is he's put Jacob in a little bit of a pickle, because if he runs up with Proxima, double long, and grabs it, then Voodoo can medium move, and he's got really good map there to be able to get 2 power to Daniel it off of her.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
If Corvus goes up, Jugs and Voodoo can just turbo dunk. Now, at some point, Morgan, Morgan's going to get to go last here. So he will be able to dictate. It's not like Jacob can just
wait
go
him out.
last and wait him out. Like, he will have to decide on that legacy virus, and Morgan grabbing 2 of them at the start is really strong, and he has put Jacob in a little bit of a predicament here.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's going to be interesting because, like you said, if Jacob wants to open up next turn with priority, which typically Corvus Proxima do, he's going to have to light off this husband-wife combo. And if he doesn't, you're kind of happy about that, right? Like, I'm not upset seeing starting turn 2 with priority, because then I feel like I've got a chance against Corvus to potentially, you know, put him in the ground.
And then don't forget, Jugs, because of how easily he generates power, he can be the one to use this escort to safety, right?
Yep.
If he needs, he can use it to pull back Voodoo or
That's
pull
right.
back whoever needs doing. And then, you know, it's smart that Jacob is having Corvus on the bottom of the screen, because you really don't want to have Corvus going up against Rocket and Groot. It's just going to take too long.
Correct. Which advanced are indeed Corvus a power from Kingpin.
What do you think? What do you think that's for? Do you think it's for a climbing gear?
It could be for climbing gear. It also Glaive's Edge, I believe, is 3.
Right.
So we're looking at Glaive's Edge is online, ready to go, which is a serious threat, right? And usually with Corvus, most of the time with Corvus, you're sitting there like, maybe he won't have enough power, so hopefully he doesn't roll well on his first attack. But, you know, spoiler alert, he will roll well.
So Morgs looks like he's gonna
Just call the bluff, I think.
Well, maybe. So what he can do here is he can. I think Jugs will have the power to. I'm not sure. So he gets the 3, right? How much is his push? His push is also what? It's 3. Does it cost 3 to do his push?
3. Yep.
Yeah. So he can't grab it and then push himself back.
Correct. Yeah. Which, you know, fair and balanced playtesting works.
No, absolutely. Which is really it's smart, right? But he is going. You know, he's putting himself in a position to be Corvused. We'll just have to see if it ends up happening.
Right. It makes me a little bit nervous. I will say I always play that attrition style. Well, not attrition, kind of like I normally play balance, but, you know, attrition is normally what's on my mind. And I would say if I'm Rocket, I am eyeing off that Kingpin with 0 power. There is a world, and we've all seen it, where Rocket rolls up and drops 5 damage into something on the off rip.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm interested as to why he didn't move Rocket up this turn, though.
Yeah.
That is like right now before Juggernaut. I'm wondering what maybe the I think the R&D play forced Morgan to move up because how much is climbing gear? Is it 2 or 3?
It is 3.
Okay, yeah. So I guess Corvus couldn't have run up, grabbed it, and then climbing geared back.
Yeah, that'd be brutal.
Yeah.
Seems. I mean, it could be just Morgan coming up and grabbing it and just, you know, forcing or at least showing Xavier that he can now can use Corvus Proxima, give him an opportunity to, you know, save Rocket and Voodoo for final activations.
And I guess if you're forcing that legacy virus, if you're forcing it onto Jugs, it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean,
he's not unhappy about it.
He's your most survivable guy, you know. And honestly, injured Jugs is really scary too because he gets his throw online.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so Jugs typically starts to return to either with insane amounts of power because he's punched something, or he's starting with a minimum of 3. So he can always start with his throw. You don't have to open with his throw either, which is pretty cool. Oh, sorry, he doesn't have to be the active character for Do You Know Who I Am?
Right.
So it's just a move from Proxima. We should see the husband-wife light off right now, so you can rip priority off Morgan.
Now, again, Morgan's playing really smart here because Proxima is in a spot where if Corvus is not within 1 of that infinity formula, which I believe he will be, Voodoo can roll up and potentially Brother Daniel Proxima and ensure that she can't get that point. But, if Corvus is, Jugs is out of that Corvus range. So now it's like, do you move Corvus up and set him up again for the double tap? But if you do, you aren't on that point and you can get Brother Daniel'd. So Morgan's playing a really smart game and really cagey.
Yep. I mean, it's still close. That Proxima is still close to getting at that range for getting Brother Daniel on turn 1 anyway.
Right, she is, but what I'm saying is, at least if she does get Brother Daniel, if Corvus is also contesting the formula, then it doesn't cost Jacob any points.
Yeah. I mean, we've still got Black Cat sitting there as well. I would expect her... I don't think she needs to come to the top side of the board. Kingpin, can normally duel against those two fairly well.
Sorry about that.
You're right.
He's got to be careful with Black Cat moving on the top side of the board because you do not want a situation where Rocket can get within 3 and just bully her.
Oh yeah.
But Morgan also needs to be, and then here's that look. See, they're seeing if he could do that medium move and be within 3.
Yeah.
And it is close. It is really close.
I think it might be just out. I don't mind it though. Like, even if he's just out, like, it's fine because it would have been really nice for him to be in, right? Get some early points, early damage into Proxima. There's no field dressing on Xavier's side, so, damage sticks.
Sorry, what I was saying before was that Morgan needs to be careful that Black Cat doesn't move to the top of the board by Kingpin, and then she gets that 2 power, and both her steal and her stagger is online, and staggering Groot, staggering anyone on the top of the board is going to be rough stuff.
Yeah.
I would not be also surprised to see Black Cat come to the bottom of the board.
Yeah, exactly. Like, my experience, like, practicing with Wreath and stuff for his Criminal Syndicate this season is that Kingpin, depending how well your Groot and Rocket are going, can usually duel with them, but that is under the assumption that he has his damage reduction online at all times.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of in that naked situation right now where, like, obviously we saw it today in the tournament. Rocket rolls up, puts down 6 hits straight away. There's a world where Kingpin starts next round 6 out of 7 damage.
I think there may have been a pass in here somewhere.
Yes, there would have had to been, right? Morgan would have had 2 left. Corvus Proxima, then Voodoo. No, there will be no pass.
Oh, you're right.
Yep.
You're right.
Interesting that Corvus did not take the aggressive path. I think that's out of range. It is out of range. Voodoo's currently sitting out of range of Proxima, FYI.
Right.
Which is, you'd be happy about that, right? Because then you're not giving him the opportunity to open next turn by pivoting onto Voodoo.
And this is the really smart play here by Jacob, because what he'll do is Black Cat's going to count as 2.
Yep.
And then that's going to deny Morgan that point on the top, even if he moves Rocket up. And that's just something that you're going to have to accept.
Yep.
And the danger here is that Rocket's going to move up and be able to do a pretty nasty hit into her.
Correct. Would you go for a nasty hit into her? I probably would. Her steel's online next turn anyway, so you're not stopping the steal, so you may as well just try and kill her instead.
Yeah, and there's a world here where Rocket just absolutely dunks on Black Cat. She only has 3 dice. He's
got winging it.
Yeah, he does have the winging it.
3 into 1 block.
Yep. So he won't daze her. because then there's a skull in there.
Didn't use the wingers. Was it 2 skulls? No, he could have gone for 1 more damage. Interesting.
Does he have the power for Deadly Duo right now?
No, Groot's on 0.
Yeah,
And I've often found
curious.
that picking up objectives on Groot while you love it, it actually delays, unless they actually like punch on Groot and try and no rerolls versus Black Cat, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you can't do it.
It delays Deadly Duo by an entire turn, which sometimes can seal a deal in the wrong way.
Mhm.
So 4-3, going into round 2.
Yeah, man.
Do they not pause this chess clock in this phase of the game?
I don't think so.
Because Xavier's time is ticking down, right? And this is while Morgan's choosing his wing and tokens. This is where the chess clocks get. This is the grey. This is the grey area, right?
Yeah, I'm actually not sure, to be honest.
Tom Sawyer, yo, what's happening, Huggy? And Christopher, Groot will get infinity power though, so he'll be fine. Yeah, true. We're just talking about in general. Like often Groot picking up an objective, not on infinity, or unless it's like a cube or something, generally is delaying that by an entire turn. Okay, here's the conundrum for you, Farmer. Do you open with Black Cat Steel Run or Corpus? This is actually a really tough choice for Xavier, right? Because if you don't open with Corpus here, yeah, we open with Black Cat.
Black Cat. I think it's Black Cat Steel Run Pass if you have the power for it. I'm not sure if she does.
She's got 2 left, and I believe it costs 2. Yeah, so she can. She just run to Kingpin and pass it over.
Yeah, that's what 100% what I would do. Black Cat Pass.
Do you sprint it over to this side of the board?
You could do that too. You super could. There's a lot of different things because you could try and assemble Exodia, if you will, because you got Bullseye in the middle there. Right.
You got Bullseye. That's what I'm thinking. Do you palm it to Bullseye straight away? Probably not with stealth. You got good odds of not being touched.
Mm-hmm.
If she runs back into the middle of the board here, say between this statue and this furthest back,
well,
starts building.
You put an absolute ton of pressure on Morgan here if you move it and pass to Bullseye right now, because then Morgan still has a he should have 1 on Jugs.
Yep.
But then Morgan's got to decide if he's got to do something.
That's right.
Also, Jacob could just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna
abuse stealth.
My lead. Abuse stealth, run with Cat, maintain my lead. This is not the most exciting Crisis Protocol playing, running away, but that's exactly what
Black Cat does. Play.
It's the correct competitive play using the pieces that you have.
That's right.
And it's putting Morgan even further behind now because he's going to have to do a lot of work, a lot of catch-up work here. And of course now Cat's way out of the way for Voodoo to do his thing.
That's right. So I don't mind this. Open up with Voodoo. We're going to be within range of Bullseye. He's just got to roll dice. Yeah. Odds are he's going to get a single power from it. You can Daniel him and
then take it.
Take it.
Yeah, I like this play. He's Danieling him right now, actually, grabbing it.
It's a 2 threat, so you can just do both.
Yep.
Every time I see Bullseye, still to this day, I assume 3 threat.
Bullseye's Mystic Defense is absolutely atrocious, but the other thing he could do here is not attack him and just move again, but I think the attacking is a good call.
Yeah, I agree. 2 skulls, 1 more than he needs.
Yeah.
Decent roll, though. 4 hits, 2 blocks, so that's actually a really good block. He's going to sneak 2 in.
Yeah, he needed that. Yeah.
2 is a good number, though, because that's enough for him to recall if anyone goes for him. So
right, and that's what it's trivial now. You don't need like that Daniel token on Bullseye anymore.
Yep.
And what I also really like here is if they want to go after Voodoo, someone's got to come off that point.
Yep. Yeah, you kind of spreading him out. Gives Star-Lord and Jugs the opportunity to try and overpower whoever's left.
Right.
So we're probably looking at a parting shot here. which is after an attack against this character resolved, may use superpower. The attacking character suffers 1, and then you may advance S away. Solid. Sneaker damage in and walk away.
Yeah. Morgan was hoping he was going to daze Bullseye there. I mean, his Mystic Defense, I think, is only 2, right? Yeah, we just saw 2. Like Voodoo has pretty good odds there of just absolutely eviscerating him. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think he wants to use the winging it tokens in offense, knowing that this potentially is coming his way right now. But
yeah. But again, he's doing a really good job range controlling there, and Jacob's doing a really good job forcing Morgan into, places he doesn't want to be.
Yeah, exactly. He's drawing the fight in and away from at least his free victory points as a criminal syndicate player.
Right.
So Huggy said, could he have avoided the possession with the S move? No. Just the possession happened before the attack. So absolutely.
Right, and that's why Morgan did it. That's, again, really savvy play there to possess him before doing the attack.
So at least he's had an answer for the steal. There's nothing worse than getting Black Cat stolen and you're just sitting there like, oh, it's going to take me 2 turns to retrieve it on the other side of the board. So he's just instantly, massively behind. Whereas Morgan now still maintaining majority of the legacies in his favor.
Yeah, this is going to be a tight match. But the problem is Morgan will be able to keep it tight while he has bodies, but Jacob's going to be able to do a really effective job removing bodies pretty soon.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming that's what he's eyeing off right now, is actually who to hit with Corvus Proxima. Got 2 solid options, Voodoo and Jugs, and both are holding legacy viruses.
The good news is, more than likely, I mean, Voodoo's pretty he's pretty tanky. And let's say he Corvus Proxima's off, right? He Corvus Proxima's Voodoo down or whatever. They're going to be sitting in a spot where Star-Lord and Jugs can probably get to them.
Yep.
And there's potential that Morgan could be able to slap back.
Right? Like most of the time they should be sitting roughly, you would assume, still in this area in between the building and these 2 cars. Maybe with the medium advance he could head in towards where Bullseye is off of Corvus, but again, just leaving this bottom canister open. So he's retrieved it, has he? I want to say yes.
Bullseye's attacking him.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's rolling for defense, so he absolutely has retrieved his
awful roll by Jacob there.
His brother Daniel.
And also, but Bullseye will get the free damage up.
Yep. Most consistent character in the game.
Yeah. This is smart because it's going to do that chip damage on Voodoo here.
Yeah, well, it just makes it more likely that Corvus can do it in one attack, right? Or even maybe Proxima. One defense.
Nothing for Morgan here. This is actually brutal.
I would expect him to pop a wing in a token at this point.
Yeah, I think he needs to.
Yep.
Oh, he has 1 defense, but yeah, you pop that wing in it. You reroll the 2.
Solid. Takes 1.
You get 2.
Takes 1 and a bleed.
Yeah, but still really important. That's the power of those winging hits. But now Voodoo's in a really, really dangerous spot for him. Corvus can just go up and now do all the things to kill him, and then Prox can run up and grab that virus and then run again.
So, questions. Do you start here with Jugs now, if you're Morgan? You can move, punch Corvus, maybe slide into him, and then hit Do You Know Who I Am, and maybe long throw him down to this bottom side of the board. So he's really out of position. Like, possibly look at something like that.
Because he doesn't have Indomitable, I think that is definitely something Morgan needs to consider, is just busting them up and keeping him from being able to do the move husband, wife, kill, grab the virus.
Yeah. Here's a couple of options here, right? Let's say he does Jugs. You just do the move, you hold the slide, you punch Corvus, see how well the punch goes. If it goes really good, slide home and throw. If it goes really badly, you can still throw Corvus completely out of position and then slide towards Voodoo and potentially still have enough power to do escort to safety as well. If required.
Yeah.
If required.
I do think that he wants to save that "Do you know who I am" to equate for as a victory point.
Yeah.
To throw a single person off.
Off a point.
Yeah.
E.g., Kingpin being long thrown is a one sad Kingpin. Or, whatever. I think maybe if I'm doing it, this is just from my perspective, I'm using it to try and make it so that when Proxima decides to come forward, she can't really do anything except for sit within 3 of Corvus, right?
Yeah.
It really lessens the blow. Like, it's pretty hard to stop husband and wife, but, you can make it so it's really bad.
This is interesting. Morgan is considering going for choosing violence here, taking out Bullseye with Star-Lord, trying to deal 2 damage to him.
Well, there's no field dressing on Xavier's side, right? So any days sticks. Think, what's happening, mate?
There's also...
Go ahead.
I was going to say there's also a thought here to move Star-Lord to block Corvus from being able to get into the range too.
This is probably I was going to say hit and run, but
Another
one hit.
Absolutely
Terrible roll.
Yeah, absolutely horrible roll.
Blocked it.
Yeah, that was rough. You hate to see it.
Yep. It's quite interesting watching these two just try to go out of their way to give their opponents just the worst possible decisions. I think I like this. If you can get a fully auto with a wild in here, which he has not currently, you can put that
another bad roll.
You can put a slow onto Corvus, make his life hell, or slow onto Proxima.
I think Star-Lord might have wingets here.
He does. I would absolutely push it home as well.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the crit's not exploded. So this could be into Proxima.
I mean, that would kill her because he rolled nothing. So if that is into procs, that would be a dazed procs.
Before
oh,
I
no,
five,
it's
right?
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he needed one more.
Just when they weren't good enough, they take -1 damage.
Yeah. Yep. That's tough. That's tough. 2 really absolutely abysmal rolls for Morgan not getting the wild. And now Voodoo's in a really, really tough spot.
Absolutely.
But
not the
good
greatest
news
rolls from
is-
Xavier either, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because now procs can get med packed too.
That's true. At least it's not being used on Corvus. I mean, it's used on the combo, which is essentially the same thing, but...
Yeah.
What do we got? So he doesn't have Sacrifice online anymore because Star-Lord's tapped out in power. So there's no ability to try and save Jugs if it does come up.
Oh, you mean Voodoo, right?
Well, I was just talking about, like, you got Star-Lord and Jugs sitting next to each other there, so at least you have some agency in actually who gets attacked for who, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Not anymore, though. It's gone.
Jacob doing a really good job of kind of neutering Deadly Duo as well, being a wasted tactics card if there's no one on that other side of the table.
Yeah, or no, good. I mean, it's still triple attack from Rocket. Like, it's still good, but...
But if there's only one target, right?
Yeah.
It's still, it's tough.
It's nowhere near as good.
But you could take that triple attack on Kingpin. I mean, he can die. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, it's just always... it's always nice on Deadly Duo, right, when you can get that more than one target, so you got a good chance of, let's say Perfect World, you get all 3 targets, you generate enough power from it to double spender whoever's weakest at the end of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Rocket's sitting on 5 power anyway, so odds are Kingpin's getting nailed with that spender.
And the other thing Morgan has to be aware of is Jacob can move in a position here to climbing gear back onto his point if he moves Jugs.
That's true, yeah. A lot of power sitting on this bottom side of the board currently.
And the other thing that Morgan needs to be aware of is that he's in significant danger of Voodoo getting the double tap and just being removed at the top of next round as well.
Oh yeah.
Now, he could position Jugs to be in sacrifice range there.
Yep.
But if he's attacking Jugs, then that's also really good for Jacob.
Yeah.
So it's tough stuff all around for Morgs, especially when you're already kind of in a matchup you don't love, and then those dice don't do exactly what you're looking for.
Absolutely. So we're moving up. We are striking, I want to say. I didn't see measure range 3 to Corvus, so he may be deciding not to. That's going to pierce his only block there, so that's currently dazed Voodoo.
Yeah, that would be a dazed Voodoo.
Pierce on builders, just so good.
Oh, I'll be back in a second.
No problem. Proxima picking that up. I would assume if Proxima picks that up, we're absolutely going to see a med pack on her. Unless she just moves back at some point and palms it off to someone else. But you'd assume yes, right? No field dressing sitting here, so stay healthy for as long as possible. I know Morgs had Blind Obsession in his roster. I'm curious if he was thinking about that. Medpack getting dropped on Proxima, like down to 1 health. Blind Obsession with Rocket, even, Jugs here. Jugs can take -1 damage, right? So, Blind Obsession from Jugs, start of this turn 2, straight into Corvus. You're sitting on 10 dice builders. You got massive defense. You don't really care. Proxima doesn't hit hard enough to really mind if you lose some defense dice against her. Groot coming up. Contesting, yes he is. Let's have a punch.
All right, I'm back. What did I miss?
Medpack onto Proxima, and now Groot has walked forward. And he's going for a swing. And he's probably going to do no damage.
Or none.
I'll just back to CMP 1, take none. Nice.
Yeah.
This is what I was talking about with Groot before, right? Because Groot picked up that Legacy. He was out of range of the Infinity. So that Deadly Duo has been delayed an entire turn. I actually quite like this moving forward. At least you're setting up Groot and Rocket as far forward as possible to start having a look at, dazing Black Cat or getting rid of Bullseye or whatever. I would assume that Rocket's going to probably walk forward and probably have a shot at Bullseye at some point, but I don't think Rocket can make that point.
I got a math question here for you, Jay. If you are Juggernaut, okay, and you push through that car, staying range 1 of the thing,
Yep.
Being next to Proxima, and you bump into her, right?
Yep.
Do you do a move action to get 8 dice, or do you do 2 5 dice into her?
With the negative that she has towards like -1 damage, I'll be doing an 8 dice. You just want to like Thanos, right? Lots of little shots into Thanos does not much, but one big one is generally the way you're going to knock him down. Huge attack from Kingpin here. Currently at 5 hits with a stun. Make that 6 hits with a stun. 1 block.
Absolutely.
So 5 damage sitting into Groot. That's all right.
Yeah.
Deadly Duo is now online though, so Rocket can now double move and have a shot.
And you might be able to get Bullseye and Kingpin.
Stun and push as well.
Yeah, the push is significant here.
Kingpin. So solid.
Because now if Rocket wants to move up, he is not going to be able to... well, maybe. There is a world here where he could move up and be within 1 of that, and maybe be within 5 of Bullseye and within
2
5
of Groot.
Kingpin. Within 2 of Groot, within 5 of Kingpin, but again, I'm not entirely certain.
Well, 2
It's
of
tough
Groot.
to tell.
2 is just slightly shorter than a small move, isn't it? So you'd expect it to be sitting around about there.
But you want to be within 1 of that virus because you cannot lose out that point. I think that's what he's measuring right now. Is if he can be within 1 of the virus. Here he's checking it within 1 of the virus, within 5 of Bullseye, and within 5 of Kingpin. I think he might be able to.
Oh, within 1 of the serum, gotcha.
Right.
Yep.
And I think he's going to be able to get all of that, and so he'll get the free attack into
in range. Yeah. Can see him absolutely.
Yep. So he'll get cover, but
you're gonna get. I mean, you've got Deadly Duo sitting there if you need it. So we're gonna have 2 shots at him if you need it, right? You can put 1 down range, see how you go. You got wing it tokens, try and push it off, or shunt it up as high as possible, and then if required, you can fire off Deadly Duo and put a daze into it. I don't think it's probably worth it doing it into Bullseye, but removing bodies next turn is always good.
Well, the other question is, you're not going to take out Kingpin, but I think you do 1 into Bullseye, and maybe we'll see.
Do that. He has the power. He probably could have done a spender as well, but it does to get rid of his.
Oh my god! And Jacob just having another absolutely absurd defensive role here.
Yeah, triple block. Morg's currently sitting at absolute maximum of 4 damage if he wants to, so winging it's not worth it. Yeah, if you were going to do the Deadly Duo at that point, you'd do it first, right? So you can pivot a spender wherever it's required. The fact that he opened with just a standard attack means he's not doing it. No way.
Yeah.
Or if he is doing it, he's just a bit of a suboptimal way of doing it. Party shots coming in. So 1 damage onto Rocket and an advanced S for Bullseye, which is solid.
Bullseye's Morgs is just not getting the offensive rolls that he needs on anything.
No, I think the biggest he's done is maybe 3 hits at most.
Yeah, I mean, he's pumped tons of dice into Bullseye and only deal 2 is a feels bad for him, but that's just how it goes. And Jacob's doing a really good job leveraging this opportunity.
Absolutely. Sometimes hot dice in turn 2, turn 3 seals game straight up.
Yeah.
I mean, already difficult game for Morgs.
It's why I would have considered, it's probably not optimal. You can consider doing a spender into Kingpin and then a Deadly Duo into Kingpin and then into Bullseye.
Yep. I like seeing that, the husband-wife combo not required. Like, it's nice. It is good seeing an experienced Corvus Proxima player just not just spamming it out as much as possible.
Right. Absolutely. But this is an important Corvus play for Jacob because Jugs is left there, and you want to make sure that Morgan can't just go dunk on Proxima and get that virus.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he moves up and just eviscerates Star-Lord here.
I would expect as well, like, this is a good opportunity to fire off Do You Know Who I Am? Depending where Corvus finishes, it might be a good time to do it. Because let's say Corvus finishes, let's say medium advances back onto his serum canister, you can throw him into Irrelevance and separate those 2 to really spoil Xavier's priority next round, which is a leg up. I still don't. The sad part is, I think that Xavier is so far in front, at least where he's got his damage and how it's situated currently, that I don't even think that helps him. Or it'll help him, but it's not enough. That's a lot of skulls.
Not a great roll here.
It's good to see that hasn't. There's nothing worse than seeing a finals game where it's just like super one-sided. This adds a bit of spiciness to this.
Yeah, because
you're breathing a fresh air right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, 2 shields not great, and then only 1 of those skulls is good, and he's gonna plucky it, which is really good. Into nothing.
Yep.
In a 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. So that was the Glaive's Edge, so no blanks counting there. So only 1, 2, 3 hits total. So 2 going to Star-Lord. Sacrifice being played, so we're pivoting this onto Jugs. Solid.
Yeah, this is smart.
Can you add dice with Sacrifice? Always wondered if you could add dice. You know, so I think Sacrifice specifically says you can't mod your dice and you can't add. So I don't even know if you can add the crit, to be honest.
No, that you can always add the crit. I don't think that's that's just standard.
It's just standard exploding or however they word it.
Yeah. Really smart play of Sacrifice there.
Yep. Keep your characters in the game. Also, is that you're in that nice area with Star-Lord where you're starting next turn on 3 power. So you do have a fully auto ready to go.
The problem now, though, is there's a pretty big risk here with Jugs because you only have 2 power on him. So you have a lot of considerations to make. You can you want to move and get that additional. But then you have to decide, do you know who I am and throw Corvus into irrelevancy? And
You might have to.
I think you might have to, because then you can get a VP right there by doing that, you know?
Nasty climbing gear from Proxima here.
Yeah.
It's like when you play Sword against Black Order, right? Specifically Corvus Proxima, like you're trying to utilize that power phase push to just try and annoy those 2 as much as possible. This is just like a super version of it, except it's just going to come in its back end his turn. There's nothing you can do about it.
I'm actually not convinced this is a good climbing gear for Proxima, because what this does for Morgan is he can do 2 5-die attacks into her. And then potentially...
It's got okay odds of actually dazing her, to be honest.
Right, and then he could do his, depending on how much power he has, which would be 4 more.
Yep.
He could then do his push and yeet Corvus and get that other point and the legacy virus, depending. I mean, the math has to go his way, but there's a huge upside potential for Morgan on this turn.
There is also a play where he can walk towards Voodoo. I don't know if he's in range of it, but he might be able to walk into range 2 and drop a field dressing on him as well.
Is that what you want, though?
I'm just saying it keeps him around for another turn, right? He's going to be on 1 health, but at least he delays his demise.
Yeah. He can also force out the brace, too, depending on how much power he ends up getting, too.
Yep. So perfect well for Morgan here. He dazes Proxima with this attack, and then can slide towards Corvus and yeet him.
That's the perfect world.
But currently how it's going, that is absolutely not how it's going to go.
Now, he does have a winging a token, which is good, right? So 8 dice with 2 rerolls, not awful.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And if he gets the 4 more power than he needs here, then...
Decent. Needs his crit to pop off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Massive block from Jacob. Like, massive.
Where are the 5 dice coming from?
Is that martial prowess.
Is it? Oh, the martial prowess, right.
So 7 into essentially 3 minus 1, so take 3. So he can daze her.
Yeah.
It's just going to require his slide.
Well, then Jacob could brace, and then he could use Do You Know Who I Am, I think.
Can brace get around the slide?
No, you're right.
I don't think it can, right?
Yeah. I don't think it can either.
Here comes the slide.
So, yeah, he was able to get exactly what he needed here, which is huge.
Yeah.
And so you sort of just leave Corvus there to do, just accept that, just sort of accept that Star-Lord might die and you lose your winging its, or Voodoo might die. But at least for this turn, he's going to get that one of those viruses back.
Yeah.
And he's going to, I think, tie it up.
So he'll get 4, and Xavier will get 3. So that will be
so he'll
tied
tie it up. So yeah, that was a massive round for him to do that.
So I'm assuming that next round is where we see the massive Corvus Proxima opener.
I think you need to. I think you have to if you're Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, Kingpin doesn't have anything to do. Black Cat, absolutely not. Bullseye, even though he's sitting on low health, is actually in a fairly decent position to not be touched. Do you open into just, hey, we're just going to remove bodies, don't care who it is? Do you go specifically for Voodoo here, being on he's on his injured side? That will require a move from Corvus, though. But in a perfect world, he does his death blow, gets the flurry and the medium advance, and then double builders into Corvus with Glaive's Edge.
I'm gonna. How much power did Jugs have?
He would have done 3 damage and then spent 3, so roughly 4 is where he should be.
Because there's a thought here that before he pushed, I guess then he can use Brace. I'm just wondering if there was a play where he could have thrown Proxima before the daze.
Yep.
To, but I don't think there's a way around that because of Brace to throw her and get her out of husband-wife range. But I think you're in husband-wife range regardless. So
I think that Morgs' only real solid throw, like damage dealing throw, is basically that Brace is stapled to "Do you know who I am?" So you know, I don't even know if you bother trying to get damage out of it. You just maybe use, if Voodoo can stay alive long enough, you just use Voodoo's throw to try and force out the Brace and then either go for a big spike, or you just use that long throw to completely pull these two apart.
There is something that Jacob does need to be a little bit wary of, and that's if Jugs gets enough power to yeet himself all the way across the board and daze Black Cat and get that 3rd virus. He loses Jugs, but suddenly that's how many points is that?
8 takes him to 15.
Yeah.
And you would assume that,
well,
that's it with Groot and Rocket sitting over there.
He just wins the game.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, that's super, super unlikely that Morgan would be able to get all, especially considering how fast Black Cat is. But Jugs can move, man. He can get across the board real fast.
Well, yeah, with medium move, slide. Yeah,
slow move.
Slow move. I'm just like mapping it out in my head. Be roughly where that range 3 template is now. Slide. You just go straight through that building. You don't care. Slide again. So we're looking at 6 power. He needs 7 if he wants to get it, pick it up off of Black Cat. He'd be kind of close, to be honest.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like he I don't know if he can get there, but that base is big. Like that is he can cover a lot of ground deceptively.
So Black Cat doesn't look like it, but she's actually like only just at the corner of that building. So she's not as far back as she looks. Okay, block. Sadly, going to get pierced. So we're currently looking at 3 going through into Voodoo. I would probably fire off a wing in it here to try and reduce this as much as possible.
Probably, yeah.
Takes 1 with cover.
Oh, cover. That's pretty big.
So that was the spear throw. So no pierce either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so place within 1.
Where's Mysterio? Tricks and traps.
He's not within range to do his escort to safety either.
Yeah, not a good defensive role.
No.
Luckily, not a good attack role. Or unluckily, if you're really Xavier, there's nothing worse. Like when you see a blank out like that, especially as a Guardians player, like that's you're instantly looking at win tokens to try and just push home as much as possible. And I guess Criminal Syndicate, excellent at serum canisters, not so good at being punching power.
This is actually huge for Morgan that didn't pop off, and there's only 2 there.
Yep.
Because now Corvus really does have to walk off that point.
Correct.
To deal with Voodoo.
Doesn't have enough power to do the wombo either.
Yeah, this is like really, really big for Morgan. And Jacob is already sort of committed here.
Yes,
to
100%.
Voodoo.
Yeah.
And so again, I wouldn't be surprised if Voodoo dies here, but I also, would not be surprised if, with the winging tokens and all this stuff, if there's some way that he can live.
Yep. So do you go 5 dice blanks count, or do you go 7 dice?
I go 5 dice blanks count.
Yeah, right. If you can get a wild as well, it just puts real good odds of putting that voodoo in the ground.
Another bad roll from Morgs. Yep.
Not a good roll from that. Oh no, blanks count. It's 4. Pierce, that's currently a dead voodoo. You'd need to wing it. And he needs to get a block here. Access denied.
Wow, that was just so... That was 4, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 dice with no blocks from Morgan on that.
You know,
but no free VP.
That's true.
Free VP.
That's true. The position of Corvus there is also kind of semi-blocked. Juggernaut from...
Maybe, yeah. It depends on the
ordering of it.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, all he needs to do is just... I mean, honestly, if you're in a position... Like, it's pretty early in the game, return 3. Are you willing to take the risk of yeeting Juggernaut that far to get this? I probably would, to be honest, because losing Voodoo there is a huge blow to Morgan. So I will be looking to take a risk and do it.
Yeah, because Jugs has that, if you get that and just get one other point, which you can with Star-Lord down there, you just win the game.
That's right. Star-Lord's on 4 health remaining, so the likelihood of Bullseye killing him is almost 0. Groot coming in, doing a spender. 8 dice. Love to see it.
Yeah, this is big. And he gets the throw, too.
5 hits.
Whoa. Yeah.
Triple block on Kingpin.
Wow. That's crazy.
Kingpin's immortal. So he's going to take 1. Does give him a stagger, though, which is nice. And you do throw him medium. Do you just throw him down the bottom here?
Oh, yeah. You throw him as far away as possible.
Yep.
And because it's medium and the stagger, Kingpin won't be able to get back on that point, I don't think.
Right. Can you hit Black Cat with it? You can.
Which is big.
Nice. There's a world where... I mean, you would assume Brace gets fired off at this point, right?
I mean, that's a... If he uses Brace here, he doesn't have Do You Know Who I Am? Which means that Jugs can double move Do You Know Who I Am a building into her.
This is also true.
You actually hope you don't Dazer here, though, because you don't want Kingpin picking that up.
Absolutely
But I
not.
guess she could just pass it to Kingpin.
Brace coming out. Kingpin doesn't need to spend for it because he doesn't take collision damage from characters.
The game looks bad for Morgan, but because of the nature of Legacy and that Jugs has 2 of them, it's like...
Yeah.
It's weirdly not.
It's like super risky for him, but he has an option to go for this. Corvus Proxima already lit off. You're only looking at Black Cat sitting there. She's only got 2 power, so she's not going to steal anything off you. And even if she does, she can only steal 1. So Xavier checking on what it looks like, where that rocket's going to sit potentially.
A lot of really interesting things here because, like, Morgan has potential depending on what Black Cat does. Kingpin can't get on that point. Like, he's staggered. Climbing Gear has been used. Bullseyes and potentially get dazed. Morgan has a shot to get 6 this round. 6 to 1.
Yeah. It's interesting as well because he's kind of locked in on how he does his activation here. You bring Bullseye out too early and Star-Lord or Rocket dazes him, right? So he has to stay there for a bit. He's got to stay there for a period of time.
I would not be surprised to see Black Cat pass the virus to Kingpin and then move up onto that group point.
Yeah. I like that. I like that play.
And especially with her power, run up and stagger him or stagger.
If she passes, she'll dump herself down to 0.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
Also has the option of just medium move, and he might be within 2 to throw. Pay 2 and do that medium throw.
This was a really, really smart play by Jacob because it now delays the turn.
Yeah. It's a shame. He didn't measure it, but I think it's out. I think that's definitely bigger than range 2 between Kingpin and Groot currently.
Yeah. I think he's gonna move and probably do a hit and run.
Yes, I think so. In range? Not in range, so you have to do a hit and run.
So close, though.
So close.
Yeah. Let's see if Bullseye continues to be immortal.
The answer is yes. No, we haven't seen it yet. No.
Yeah, nothing for Bullseye, so that will daze him, despite another bad offensive roll by Morgan.
It's not a good roll.
You know, he had a winging it token, though, that he doesn't have to use. So
yeah. So
no parting shot. So
Morg is currently getting 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you pull the trigger on Jugs sprinting at Black Cat as your final activation to attempt to win the game this turn?
I would be measuring my butt off. And it all depends on where Black Cat moves to, because Jacob could be looking at that and be like, you know what? I'm going to move Black Cat up to that top right corner of the board, and we're just going to live there.
Yeah, exactly. Or you move her up and, capture that.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 options,
no,
right?
you can't. I mean, you can't move Cat up to too close to that legacy virus, because that just gives Jugs a lot of range.
Yeah, also you got Rocket still sitting there unactivated.
Right. Yeah, it's very dangerous to do that.
Other option is you just KO Proxima. Brace is played. You can come in. We've now got the size 4 throw plus an 8 dice attack plus wing and tokens. Odds are in your favor to kill Proxima. I would be shocked if Proxima lived through this, but I'm not a math guy. This is all just gut feeling.
Well, he can throw that size 4 building into her.
Yeah.
That's the key part here.
Do the punch first, though, right? And then...
Yeah. You punch first, see what that gets you, because if it kills her,
it's huge.
then you can... That is an absolutely massive... I mean, Jacob rolled 4 blocks again.
Yeah.
But Morgan has 2 winging it tokens, which he'll use.
Yeah. Should get one more. Wow.
Well,
he's been saving his rolls up.
9.
Saving his rolls up all for that 1. 9 plays 4.
I think that's going to get her.
No, I think she lives on 1.
So 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, she only has 5 on this side, right?
Yeah, but get her? The damage reduction of a negative.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Damage reduction and negative 1 sits on 1.
No, it does. No, it does get her.
Now he's sliding into her.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great.
Yep.
So now
you got enough power, right? It actually still baffles me that this is not a once per turn with Jugs. It's insane. I get it, but I feel like the extra versions of this should have been tied in and around his spender.
That was big for Morgan. I would not be surprised. He's thinking here, but I'm interested in what he's saving. Do you know who I am for? What the save there is for?
Yeah.
Because he could just have yeeted Corvus long somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Put him down. You can even put him into the building down the bottom, and then he's essentially sitting there with a move and a Glaive's Edge and Death Blow, which is still solid, but.
Well, he could be putting Corvus in a situation here too, where if he doesn't activate with Corvus first, Jugs can move up, do 8 dice into him, then throw a building into him.
True that. Plus, he's out of range 3 with both his characters anyway. So throw him long. Mm-hmm. He's got to move anyway, or be outside of range 3. He's still got to move. So you've locked him into a movement action anyway.
This is interesting.
This is so dangerous.
You might be setting Cat up now to be hit with this very super dangerous stuff. Setting Black Cat up to first activation, run up, steal, run.
Well, hear me out.
From Jug.
Hear me out. Black Cat moves around the corner and palms her legacy to Corvus.
Could do that.
Is there a world where Corvus can pump 8 damage into Jugs next round?
And just win the game right there?
Yeah.
I mean, that is... There is a world. There is a world. I think this is the better play, though, to... Oh, man, there's so much spice happening right now.
Either way, the game ends next round, right? Somebody's picking up all 3 of these. I'd be shocked if that did not happen next round.
Oh, man, this is all risky stuff from Jacob. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to do something because Morgan's going to go up by a ton here.
Correct. Travis has come in and said... So before, Travis just said Morgs pushes her onto her, kills, throws Corvus long, and pushes back. He goes, because if Corvus's game is gone long, Jugs wins game next turn for 3. And then he also just comes in, that's why you throw Corvus away. And I agree there. Even though he hasn't done it, like, you know, pay 2 power, palm a legacy onto her, the threat was there.
Right, totally.
Ooh, 3 attacks.
And I think you just double tap now.
I would
with
double,
Rocket
yeah,
there.
double spender.
You stay on that point, yeah.
Double,
You just double spender.
Yeah.
And you just say, hey, Kingpin, hold this for me.
here, hold my beer.
You know, this was looking really, really, really bad for Morgan, but this has turned into quite the game.
Still favoring Xavier. I don't know why. If Corvus is on the table, I'm just nervous at all times. So I'm still favoring Xavier here. But something like this would definitely go a long way. 5.
Yeah, for real.
Got wing units. Do we have wing units? We do not.
No, not on Rocket, but still 5 it becomes 4, but that's still huge.
Yeah.
And now he only needs to deal 2 with another spender into him.
Yeah. Saving his power, playing it cagey here.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I would have done another spender because you get him onto his injured side, right? He becomes far less deadly next turn.
Well, also I don't know because you're in a position where it might behoove you to just daze him next turn when he's at 2 health instead.
Yeah,
of
true.
dazing him right now.
True that.
Because right now he's not a threat. He's not on a point. He's not doing anything.
That's correct. And, you know, you're only really going to get Kingpin to that threshold once per game normally. So,
Yeah.
so 12-9. So, currently Morgan just needs to control his two viruses plus 2 serum canisters, which he currently has on lock.
Now the really dangerous play here is Black Cat just doing a regular attack on a Star-Lord and dealing 2 damage to him, and then running up, double stealing from Jugs and winning the game.
That is very dangerous. Very, very dangerous.
Because she can just do her 4-dice slash into him, and
Correct.
if that's 2 power, it's game over.
Yep.
Just straight up game over.
Yeah, exactly. And she's 4 dice with the Pierce, so there's not bad odds on that, I'd like to say.
Now I don't know if Jugs is in escort to safety range.
Range 3. I don't know, actually. That is very close.
There's a lot of there's gonna be a lot of there's just a lot happening right now.
There is a lot. If I'm Morgan and Jugs, you basically have 1 activation each to stop this, the legacy viruses being evacuated or whatever there is. You would assume that that's the first thing Morgan's eyeing off, is essentially getting a hold of this last one. And you would assume that Xavier is currently trying to figure out how do I steal those 2 off of Jugs.
Mm-hmm. Xavier could go for like the big, massive play here, or he could just double move, run away with Black Cat, and have, Corvus trying to eviscerate Jugs.
Correct, yeah.
With a bullseye follow up.
I would argue that I would think that if he does double move and run, that Jugs has a huge chance of just straight dazing Corvus. with the do you know who I am throw and size 4 building and all these things going his way.
Yeah, and that would be, yeah. This is wild. This is so close.
What do we got? Top edge of the board, we also still have Deadly Duo online, so definitely I would not expect Kingpin to survive any of that. Yeah, Rocket has a move, Deadly Duo, Spender, and move back turn up his sleeve. Don't think it's going to come to that, but I would expect Kingpin to probably not get an activation. Or if he does, it's because Maul's allowed it. What do you think has got higher odds here? Just bringing in Corvus to try and pimp slap Jugs down, all eight damage. I don't rate that. Or I think the Black Cat play is probably the one, to be honest.
It's a really spicy play because you get Pierce on her, right?
Yeah.
If you want to leave it to the dice gods, you can leave it to the dice gods.
If that escort to safety is in, I would say that I don't think there's much that Xavier could do.
Right. No. Yeah. If it's in, I don't know if it's in. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not I'm not as good of a player as either of these guys. I'm sure they're both looking at things that I'm not even comprehending.
Absolutely.
Here. I'm just looking at the monkey brain, easy play.
Little tangent for you. Would you like to see a card that is the opposite of all according to plan? Pay 10 power to give away priority?
Yes. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. You watch, I'll put it in Web Warriors.
Cool.
The cruel twist is that they'll never be able to pay the 10 power.
That's what I'm saying. Where am I getting this 10 power? I never have more than 3.
It doesn't exist.
About?
So we're checking for it. It's out. Sweet. Awesome. Escort to safety is out. 4 dice. We're still going for 0 blocks on Morgs. He does get a Plucky and a Winginet reroll. But it's Newt because we've got 0 damage.
He was going for the win right there, and
I think that's the play. I think that's of the two, that's the play. I would use my second action at this point to long move to the bottom side of the board. I would just be getting away from Jugs.
Yeah, you have to. You have to get away from Jugs right now. But now Morgan is in excellent position to catch Black Cat Killer win the game with Jugs.
Nothing starts the Juggernaut, baby.
He'll be able to move, push, attack.
Yeah, that's what I'm just thematically, it's like this tiny black cat is just running for her life. Nice.
This is absolutely.
Put on Corvus. Yeah. I don't think that's as safe as it looks. Like I said, Brace is gone, so we've got a size 4 building. We've got an 8 dice attack.
You got an auto damage, and she's just gonna attack Star-Lord again.
Yeah, I mean, if she can date Star-Lord here, it'd be. We're doing a spender.
Going for this.
Wait.
Yeah, to get the stagger.
What do you have? 4 power. That's right. So he can do both.
Yeah.
He's gonna stagger and he's getting elusive for what matters.
Yeah. I don't think he'll use it though. He'll stay on that point.
Yeah. Does he kind of move to maximum range? Not that it matters, but.
I guess it'll come down. Can Morgan deal 6 damage to Corvus with Juggernaut and a dude you know who I am with the building? I mean, I think I don't know the math, but I think you go for it.
I think he has to, right?
Move, push.
He's got an auto damage. He's got an auto damage for the slide. He has a 5 damage auto 5 damage throw online, and he's got an 8 dice attack. I am quaking in my boots if I'm.
Okay. How much is Jugs' spender?
It is 4, so not enough to do both.
Well, not right now, right? But
True.
so he moves, he gets 2, so he's got 8, right?
Yeah.
So you can move, do your 8 dice spender. That might get you your. Do you know who I guess. No.
Would it be a 10 dice spender? 9 dice spender, right?
Well, 9 if you do.
That's plus 3 attack dice, so it'll be 10 dice spender.
Yeah, but I think you'd move.
Mm-hmm. So
right?
that's 8 power.
Yep. Morgan.
I don't know what you're measuring here, but this is getting too cute.
Morgan, just kill Corvus and win the game, my guy. Unless there's something I'm missing here. Unless there's like a really obvious thing that I'm missing. Because he immediately scores when he gets the virus. He immediately scores it, right?
Yep. I just think, like, if you do a Star-Lord activation here, I think it's getting too cute. You're trying to apply conditions to stop Corvus from killing your Juggernaut or running or whatever. When, I mean, 6 health, 3 defense. He does have reality, so he's fairly tanky with a -1. Like we talked about, though, Jugs has the perfect tools for wiping it out.
I mean, let's talk this through for a second, okay? Let's think of Morgan as a player, a play it safe player. If this massive wombo on the Corvus fails, right, and Corvus claps back and he gets both of them, you lose. Like, Morgan could be looking at this as a
too high risk.
I think, dude, you have more offense than you're ever gonna get on Jugs. I think, like, I don't know. I'll have to ask him about this later because there has to be something that I'm not seeing here.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, though, if he fails this attack roll, it's now on. It's the opportunity for Jugs to pick up both of those up is gone. It's gone for an entire turn, and then we come down to good old fashioned, capping points. If you want to take the time, go ahead.
If he fails the roll, right? Like, I don't think that's game over for Morgan, but I don't know what other high percentage play you have.
So the option you have here is to unload a fully auto into Corvus with Star-Lord to essentially guarantee Jugs doing it, and you also would put a slow on him. You might even put a shock on him, so you're not even worried about the slapback, or a bleed or something, because you're basically it's the slow guaranteed version of it, but it's a lot riskier because Corvus is Corvus, and there's a world where he just rocks up and it does nasty things. Plus, if Star-Lord does
the other thing he could be considering doing is doing a shake the stagger, hit and run, move, and do an escort to safety with Star-Lord.
True. Yeah.
To be able to, pull Jugs back off of a range 2, because Corvus is going to have to move regardless. I think Morgan's looking at this now. He's looking at, okay, can I if I move next to the building? Choose violence and win, maybe.
Yeah. I wouldn't be concerned if you went with Star-Lord either about powering up Corvus. Corvus has already got enough power to do a Glaive's Edge death blow, so you're not worried about that. So, and like you said, if he does a hit and run and a fully auto, he can it'd have to be a hit and run and a builder if he wants to set up escort to safety. But I think, like we talked about, it's probably getting too cute.
Maybe not, because if Corvus has no shot to get Jugs, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do the hit and run into Corvus.
1 hit.
Okay.
Blocks it.
Yep. Hit and run into Corvus.
Yep. So
and now you've got your Black Hat escort to safety.
Going for the wingers.
Yeah, I might as well.
You might sink one in. Would you not?
Yeah, nothing. Which feels bad.
True that. So can you give Big K a shout out? Big K, what's happening, Caden? How are you, brother?
So what this means is Corvus has a potentially 0% chance of... Basically, Morgan's playing the long con here. He's saying, you know what, VP-wise, I'm up. Okay? You're not going to daze Jugs because of escort to safety. Like, you're just not. You're not going to get within the range 2. I'm going to cap this point. If you move Corvus closer, I'm going to kill him, and I'm going to win the game. So you have to move Corvus back to the other side of the board.
Right. So, I mean, Jugs is worth 3 as it is. So Jugs is taking Morgan a 15. So does Jugs now go to the other side of the board and try and conduct some violence on Groot and Rocket?
And this is what we know about Morgan, right? He plays the top best odds that he has to win the game. He will think through everything. If he doesn't think that percentage play to daze Corvus and get that legacy is high enough to win him the game, and he'd rather play it out, and he thinks playing it out is a more sure thing, less variance based, then he's going to do that.
That's why he's a better
Now,
player than
what
us,
did-
mate. I would have gone for it. I'd tell you
I would
straight
have gone
up.
for it too, dude.
My
I
turn,
would have straight up gone
mate,
for it.
I would have done this. I would have done it 10 minutes ago. I would have just popped it off.
I would have gone for it, dude. And that's why you and I are not in the cut.
So I went 4-2, baby.
That's 4-2, baby. Oh man, I want the Can we after the cast just roll and see what would have happened? Like I'm just like, I gotta know.
Yeah, 100%.
I gotta know.
100%.
I have to know what would have happened, dude.
One more time. Caden, what's happening, brother? Be seeing you tomorrow, bro.
Wow, this is an absolutely bananas game. What does Xavier do here?
Yep, he's got plenty of time left on his chess clock, so...
Yeah, they both do.
Yeah.
We're in no danger here of, anything happening. Wow, this game is incredible. This is honestly incredible. This is a masterclass by both players.
Absolutely.
I think, okay, I definitely want to talk to Jacob if he's willing to after this, because I'm curious if the days in KO on Voodoo may have been a turning point in the game, not in Jacob's favor. If all that offense should have maybe gone into Juggernaut or gone into somebody else.
Right. I'm just writing this down.
Because, I mean, obviously getting Voodoo out of the game is really, really crucial. It's super important, right? I guess what I'm saying is when Proxima didn't get any damage, it got no damage onto him.
Yeah. And then bring
down
Corvus across.
Corvus.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Maybe Corvus would have been better set doing something different there.
Yeah.
Contesting a point or not being in that position. Hard to say, though.
Voodoo's so difficult, though. He's one of those irritating characters that when just left to the end of the turn, he just swings turns in your favor at will, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that you don't bring Corvus across and you let Voodoo lives there. He can move and do his spender, which is super random and can either do 1,000,000 damage or no damage. He can double move up there and just drop his token on Kingpin and then just walk back to where Rocket is and just, now Morgan guaranteed wins those top 2 points every round. He's just, like I was speaking about with Wreath. Wreath was and ahhing about bringing in Black Panther or Voodoo. Voodoo just does so much and it's guaranteed, right? It's just, I pay this power, this happens. So I don't think you would want to leave him alive if you had a choice between him and Jugs. So I think it was the correct play, but I suspect that the fact that it's a turning point in the game in that Proxima failed, right? Proxima didn't get the kill.
Right.
That's the turning point in the game, and that he had to bring Corvus across.
I mean, I've said that Morgan's had some bad dice, but Jacob's had some awful dice too. They both had spits of they're both well under the mean and variance, I think.
Yeah.
For their offense and their defense.
Yep. Except Kingpin. Kingpin is block everything or take everything, which is normally what Kingpin does.
So if I'm Jacob, I know this is all very tough stuff here. This is all really, really tough. He's got to. I don't know if you can. I think, okay, so Morgan didn't do the play. Morgan didn't move up with Juggernaut to bully Corvus. So if I'm Jacob, you might be like, okay, then if you didn't do it then, you're not going to do it next. So you might feel comfortable leaving Corvus there and maybe moving up with Kingpin and seeing if you can get in a situation where you can get Groot low or something.
Yep.
But then, I don't know, then Groot can just double attack you and daze you and get you off the point. I'm going to say, this is all, Jacob's in a pretty precarious spot right now. I think that the Lifesaver, the escort to safety play was just absolutely, it's an exceptional move by Morgan there.
Yeah, it's kind of blocked off a lot of Xavier's avenues for winning here. BS Gamer says, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that Black Cat roll was the game, though. I don't think we can understate that much. How
Absolutely.
big that dice could have gone.
Yeah, absolutely. He gets 2 damage there, moves, double steals, the game's over.
Yeah, the game's just straight up over. And Morgan didn't have a particularly good defensive roll there either.
No, exactly. I mean, he had 2 more goes at it, if that makes sense. He had Plucky plus Winging It up his sleeve, but You know, we've seen him fail it all like multiple times this turn or in this game already. So BS Game says it's interesting that potentially the 3 best characters are on the board tonight: Jugs, Black Cat, and Voodoo. I mean, it's interesting, but it's like it's top cut. You just assume that they're going to be there. You know, Kingpin's arguably also one of the best characters in the, around. You know,
like Corvus Proxima.
Corvus Proxima. Like this is just a who's who of top characters.
You know, this is not awful for Jacob to do, to put pressure onto Morgan, doing bullseye and getting, you know, a free, you know, getting his rapid fire off onto him, getting some damage and bleeds onto Jugs to really pressure Morgan into doing something with Juggernaut that he maybe doesn't want to do.
Will it though? Because he's got the damage reduction and there's no minimum on it.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
But then he's burning power, I guess.
That is true, yeah. I mean, but we know if he chooses the option of using his builder and not his spender, we know he has extra power available.
He's got more than enough. Yeah,
I don't know if this is ideal. You know, let's say Bullseye moves up, he shoots once. He goes, I'll pay 1 power and do 1 damage, and you just go, okay, I'll pay 1 and take none.
I don't know if he's looking at shooting, though. I'm wondering if he's considering double moving with Bullseye onto that point, leveraging. I don't know if he can get there because where Jugs is, but if he can double move onto the point, he's leveraging the fact that if Juggernaut moves, then and does not kill Corvus or doesn't get the things that he wants, he can try and play catch up on that other side of the board.
Yeah, true that. I mean, we spoke about before, Jugs doesn't have a limit on his slide, so there is a world where he walks up, fails, and still has enough power, you know, after doing a couple of damage to still slide back, and you know, Jugs is healthy, Bullseye's injured.
There's also a world where you say, okay, I'm not going to kill Corvus. I'm up 3 points if I maintain parity. I've got 2 viruses. You're not going to kill him. Right. You just run up and you just yeet Corvus long.
Just throw him into irrelevance.
You throw him into irrelevance and you just say, this is fine. You're not going to catch up. It's round 4. I'm going to get 3 minimum this round.
Coincidentally, with Star-Lord moving off that bottom point, if you throw Corvus long towards Jacob's board edge, there is literally nothing that he can move and attack.
Yeah.
So it's just... And with,
it just really depends if Morgan wants to choose violence or if he wants to choose control. And knowing Morgan, as long as I've known him, you know, knowing Morgan, the control option is probably
we know he loves it.
Style.
He loves it. Pink's asked, I'm also curious everyone's thoughts on the chess clock, especially Morgan and Jacob. Did it pressure them? I mean, that's one for chat. I've not done any games with chess clocks. I think personally they've got more than enough time left on both their clocks to see this game out.
He might be going for the Star-Lord kill, maybe, too, because if he went for the Star-Lord kill, there's no escort to safety for Jugs.
True, and it then forces Jugs to have to do the all or nothing play that we spoke about.
Yeah.
So we're going for the 5 dice rapid fire? We are not. We are doing a hit and run. Into Jugs. Jugs is going to block it, but we are going to apply bleed.
Yeah, that's fine.
Morgan pays 1, takes none, but takes a bleed.
Yeah, that's okay for him.
Yep.
He's okay taking that bleed.
We've got
hit and run.
Hit and run, where's he go? You just go straight to the point, right? The game's over this round, so it's this turn, so it's like you just go. Do you try and position him to stop the move and throw?
Maybe. And that might be what he's considering doing here.
Yep.
But I think he's just going to ignore it. Again, it's what I said before. If Morgan fails on this whole Corvus thing...
yeah, exactly. It couldn't swing either way. Thankfully, he took the time to get Bullseye onto his flip side, so he's not getting hit with that Criminal Syndicate leadership.
Yeah, which is really, really important.
I just don't... Like, Jugs, we're assuming that Jugs can live through one single Corvus combo, with the escort to safety still online, so I would potentially be firing off the rocket next turn.
Yeah, I think so too.
Move rocket, again, deadly duo. Yeah. I'd move rocket, deadly duo. I'd spender. I'd kill Kingpin. I'd move back on point and then go, hey, Jacob, I've got 5 victory points on the table currently.
Right, that's exactly what I would be doing too.
Yeah.
trying to win the game. Yeah, Morgan trying to win the game without those big pressure plays.
Yeah.
Because the escort, I'm actually really, really, really shocked that he didn't go for the big spender onto Star-Lord to try and remove him.
Yeah, I think that probably could have solved some of his problems, or at least it forces Morgan into attempting the all or nothing play, because this stops it. Maybe it's quite difficult to block things in Marvel, right? Yeah. My experience is because it's round bases, you just slide into a different part of the where you need to be. Right, like Jugs can move into that between them there.
Well, the other thing he can do is he's got more than enough power to slide first,
punch, and then
slide, move. Like he'll have the power to do whatever he needs to do.
Yeah, exactly. So you slide first, you punch. I personally would like to slide second. I'd try to move first because if you slide second, you can use it for an auto damage into Corvus.
Yeah.
Like Morgs has an auto 6 damage sitting on the table against Corvus currently.
Yeah. Now, Corvus is going to reduce that damage from the building down 1.
Yeah, so it's auto 5.
Yeah, it's auto 5 with an 8 dice attack. I mean,
it's not bad.
Math is good. Yeah. It's about as good as it can be. Wonder what they're debating now.
Yeah, he's out of the dice. Rocket is doing his spender into
Kingsman.
Yeah. 1 block. We've currently got 4 damage on, so that is a dead Kingpin.
Yeah.
I think this is what I was speaking about. Yeah, sorry, days. Dead days. Same at this point in the game. This is what I was talking about. You just fire this off now, get it done. You're removing options for Xavier, so now he has an option of passing, which I think he might.
Yeah, but if you pass, you just activate with Groot.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. It's good to recognize. It's good to not see either player tunnel visioning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that still needed to happen up there. That in that order, right?
Because you don't I love the mind games because you don't want to force. You got to force Corvus to go, and Corvus is going to have to now try and win the game off the back of a huge play, but I don't know. The escort to safety is in there, so.
If he moves far enough forward, it's a range 3 attack. I'd be shocked if he could escort to safety him out of that range.
Is the Glaive's Edge range 3?
I believe his Death Blow is. He's got 8 power, so he needs 7 on the board to do Death Blow. So I'd be shocked if you can get him out of range of that.
Yeah, that's fair. Basically, the game will come down to, can Corvus deal 8 damage to Juggernaut with a Glaive's Edge Death Blow?
Yep. Here we go.
And that's just what it'll come down to.
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe not, because he's not going to be able to pick up both the viruses now.
Yeah, Star-Lord's sitting next to him, so he gets a flurry as well. He can get both. So he needs a flurry, and he needs to be able to get 2 power for the next virus, and then 3 power for the virus after that.
Yeah.
Is there enough damage on the board he can get from this? He needs to. Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. Jugs definitely. Corvus maybe.
So we'll see.
It's got the safety coming in, which is a good play by Morgs, because if you put yourself out of the flurry range, you're at least forcing him to have to do the medium move first.
Yeah. Yep. I'm on the edge of my seat, man. This is an incredible game.
Yeah. I think you still do. I don't even know if you need to. The escort to safety is not going to stop the death flow. Definitely, you can do it in opportunity of getting rid of the what's the name? There's nothing stopping him doing the opportunity of using it against the flurry attack.
Yeah.
Good block. 2 blocks. So we got 3 damage reduction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the table. So we're currently looking at 3 damage going through. Make that 4 damage going through.
Yep. Did he get the flurry? No, there's no wild.
No wild. Is it wild shield? I know it's something weird.
What is it? I think it's wild crit, right?
Wild,
wild
shield.
shield. Yeah, so no wild. So that's big. Because Corvus does not have another attack, right? That was his move, and that was a single attack.
That was a single attack. So if you're Morgs here, do you just calculate how much damage you're taking and go, okay, that's all his free power?
So he's taking 7 right now. 7 and then minus the 3. So he's using his wing units.
Interesting. So you can take 4 damage out of this.
4 out of it. And then
5,
his
6, 7.
Juggernaut, another reduction.
Sorry, the 4 is with the Juggernaut damage reduction.
5, 6, 7.
He'll take 3.
Yeah.
Interesting he burned the wing units on that. Because he still has to...
No, I mean, no, because he just needs... He needs 4 to win the game, right?
Yeah, he's throwing. Throw and win.
He's got it. He's throw and win.
I just want it to happen with style points, though.
Right? He's got 4 on the table right now.
Yep.
Right?
So we're doing the medium advance now, and then I'll expect to see Corvus down here on this bottom left corner after this. And Jugs will hold that point for 3. Or 5.
3 and then 5.
Yep.
And that'll be the game.
17 to 11.
And anyone watching, this is just absolutely excellent discipline by Morgan. Because if he moves up and fails that big play that both you and I said we wanted to do, if we both fail that, then Corvus can just turbo dunk on him.
Yep.
And then win the game.
Correct. And he would have.
Oh, we're getting the timeline, the alternative timeline.
Yeah, here it is, and it's terrible. Did 1 damage.
Well, then there's also the building and everything. But yeah, he might have whiffed. So
Yeah,
this is why we're not in the cut, my friend.
that's right. So that was a spender. Now he's slid into Corvus. Now we're doing a builder. Got 5 damage on table, 1 block, so we'll take another 3 into Corvus. So Corvus lives on 1.
Well, for now, he can do you know who I am, which he's going to do and yeet him into that dumpster.
Yeah. Still doesn't leave with enough power to pick up any of the stuff, though. So, but he's 1 anyway, but yeah.
No, he's got 3, right?
It costs an additional 1 per legacy virus, doesn't it?
No. That's I don't think that's.
If
No, that's you're thinking
no,
of.
I'm thinking of a different one. What's one I'm thinking of?
You're thinking of hammers.
Hammers. No. Picking them up, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh,
Pick
maybe
up a
picking
character
them
must
up.
spend 1 power for each legacy QR it is holding before using this interact. So
Yeah, you still have 1 left.
yep. So the second one costs
He had
2
3.
power. Oh, he's got 3. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got all 3.
So-
Cool. Did my math wrong on my
Yeah.
power. Nice.
Yeah.
He goes to 20. 20 to 9.
What a game!
Crazy.
What a game!
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
We'll just give him a minute. I always give players a minute. Give them a second to de-stress.
That was an absolutely incredible game.
Yeah, I mean, really good tactic cards choice on both sides. All according to plan, kind of sitting at home, but you kind of need to bring that just in case you do need to pop it off. Xavier getting a little bit unlucky to not get an option there with Black Cat to win.
I mean, yeah, that could have just been, there's dice variance there. He could have just won the game, no problem.
Exactly. Does Black Cat, curiously, the Legacy Cure interaction of paying an additional 1, does that happen with Black Cat Steel? Doesn't, does it?
No.
I think she just pays 3 and moves 1 across.
No, I think she just takes it. Yeah, just because it's a steal.
Yeah.
That's why it was so dangerous. Like Morgan was in a really like hold on your butt situation there.
Oh yeah. And I mean, Star-Lord's not exactly known for his defensive prowess.
No. Doing 2 when you have a Pierce online is not always like you could get a wild and a hit, and if Star-Lord only rolls 1, he can't plucky, and you just get it.
Yeah, I mean, if Star-Lord rolls average, you get it.
Yeah, like the math there isn't that as crazy as you'd think it is.
Morgs just said, come on in. So you want to jump across with me as well?
Yes. Give me 1 second. I gotta figure out where I'm going.
We are going to the main server into their channel.
Got it.
All
I'll
right.
meet you there.
See you over there.
Of lag. There's also a bit where I couldn't see the clock, so it looked like the clock had stopped. I don't think that affected my gameplay, but it might have affected my clock management if I've got clock issues because I'm not in there. So I can kind of see that argument. I don't think it's massive though.
In top cuts, I always choose to be the host. It's like a small advantage, like a couple of 2-3 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
Hey,
just,
Darren, how you doing?
yeah, leading too much into it, but each their own.
Hey boys, how's it going? Good game.
Yeah.
I know Farmer's dying to ask a few questions, but I might fire off one straight away. We did actually have a question from chat about the chess clock, so while we're on the topic of it, so we got Fingstar was asking just your thoughts on the chess clock in general. Did it apply extra pressure to you guys? Or, I mean, we still got ample time left for both of you, so I'm inclined to say no, but, maybe early on.
It's quite generous, 75 minutes, but it's also a reasonable time frame. It allows for, because it's online and there's, we're going cross-continental here, allows for a bit of lag. I had kind of minor slowdowns occasionally, but it was fine. I like them. I think I don't want them in the main TTS league, but I think for Top Gut, I think they should be a firm fixture.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Morgs, what do you think about them?
I absolutely love them, and I would love to see them in the main league, and I'd love to see them reduced down to 60 minutes. I think in real life, 45 minutes is perfect, but with the technical stuff, give it 60 on this, and then you'll just get 2-hour games thereabouts. So I think it should be introduced in the main leagues. The only thing I would ask, though, or I don't know if it could be done, is a hotkey to hit the button. I find when you zoom in, it's hard to see the clock. So you've then got to zoom out and remind yourself. So it's just a cognitive load to remember the clock. But I thought Jacob and I were really amicable and gentlemanly in the way we did it. We reminded each other. And then Art jumped in as the judge, instantly if we didn't press it, which was helpful. So I think as long as both players play as a gentleman's game, absolutely put them in, and it stops those enormously long games that many of us have played. Myself has played many. It's much faster, and I prefer it.
Yeah, great answer. Farmer?
Yeah, first off, incredible game by both of you guys. There was just some really A-plus thinking on display everywhere, all around. My first question is for you, Jacob.
Sure.
You had that potential game-winning Black Cat play where you just needed to deal 2 damage to Star-Lord. You get the 2, you run up, you double steal from Jugs, and you just win. Was there consideration from you to not do that Black Cat play, and maybe do something else with that first activation, or did you feel the math there was your best shot?
So Morgan had an advantage, and he only needed to score 4 and was holding 2 viruses. So
Right.
needed to do something about those viruses, or else he could, if first activation, if he runs away with Juggernaut, and then he's got I haven't got enough people on the table once Proxima's disappeared to cover all the bases with
Sure.
the attacks that he's got available to him and the state that my characters were in. So that's got to be a priority for me, is those viruses, and that was the best odds play that I saw for a route to victory.
Absolutely. And then one more question for you from me is, was there a what you would describe as a turning point in the game where you felt that, one thing happened that put you a little behind that you were hoping wouldn't happen, and what might that turning point have been?
I think it was the Jug spike into the healthy Proxima that did just enough damage.
Right.
So if that doesn't happen, I spent my climbing gear to get her onto that point. She's holding a virus. That was a 4 VP swing right there.
Agree.
So I think that's definitely the big point in the game that I felt like, it's a game of dice and the luck sometimes.
Sure.
And then Morgan had to see the opportunity and try and take it. So all props to him.
Absolutely.
Just before we move on from that, another question for you as well, Jacob. So, target priority, Voodoo versus Jugs. I mean, I agree with you 100%. Voodoo's a kill target, but you're a lot better at this kind of stuff with the math and all that kind of thing. Which would you prioritize in a normal situation, or just specifically? I don't want to say specifically, in general terms for our chat out there. If you had to choose between killing either.
Yeah, my general strategy is to basically try and ignore Juggernaut. Juggernaut's output is not massive, and his scenario presence, well, he can be only on 1 point. Oh, sorry, small person interruption.
That's fine. And it's even just with that alone, that's pretty much answers the rest of it for everyone else if you want. Which is basically just no, you go ahead, finish it off.
I'm back now. So whereas Voodoo in the middle of the board can double move and drop Brother Daniel on Black Cat and then just run away, and my Black Cat is then just a stagger bot for the rest of the game when she's got a really useful ability on viruses. So I wanted to. Part of it was I thought he was the easier target to get rid of, just mathematically. He's easier to take down, and he was going to have, I thought, a bigger impact in the game. Now, as it turns out, Juggernaut had a massive impact in the game, but that was down to price. So I think strategically, that's still the right choice.
Yeah, no, we both agree with you there as well. Farmer?
Morgan, I have a question for you. We're turn 0, right? You're not sure at 17. You pull up potentially a combo that isn't great for you. You're not sure if Jacob will play Black Order into you or if he'll play the Criminal Syndicate. What were you hoping to see on the other side of the table from Jacob's picks, and how did that influence the characters you chose and your tactics card selections?
Great question. So the turn 0 for me started off really promising in a 1 priority. I was really keen to win priority, and I really wanted secures. Then it went horribly, horribly south very quickly. I got Infinity Formula, which is one of Syndicate's very best. I like it for the B shape. I certainly don't want to play that into Syndicate. Also, we got Legacy, which is fantastic for Syndicate and also pretty strong for Black Order. And then the board, you can see this middle piece of Alehouse, which protected his center Legacy carrier really nicely from any shenanigans for me to be able to attack or do some stuff with my characters. So from my perspective, this was absolutely 100% going to be Criminal Syndicate from Jacob. I think he could play 3-wide Black Order, but I think I would be advantaged. What I did is I hedged my bets a little bit in that I took Juggernaut, who I think is a really resilient character, and can survive, as we saw, the Corvus attacks most of the time. And with a Wing in it token, it really spikes his output so he can throw out some damage, and he can bypass that -1 damage mechanic by sliding into the Corvus Proximas, but not Thanos. So I had to hedge my bets a little bit what I was doing. I bought in Escort to Safety. I thought it would be a useful card anyway, and I think it changed Jacob's positioning on that last Corvus activation. But I teched in Juggernaut and Voodoo, and I was happy if he played either Black Order or Criminal Syndicate, but I probably preferred him to play Black Order here, because Criminal Syndicate on the Infinities, as we saw, I was on the back foot from round 1, and I thought on round 2, I honestly thought this was over in his favour. And it was only that Juggernaut spiked some nice attacks to tilt the balance back in my favour. And again, I got lucky that his Black Cat didn't push through that damage and then just stroll up and do the most broken thing, getting around and just win the game. So horrible turn 0 and horrible crisis combination and threat level for me. I thought I'd lost it. I thought Jacob played really well, and I managed to bail myself out with some Wing in it tokens to get some damage, which is never a comfortable place to be playing Marvel.
Yeah, for sure. And then one more question that I have for you is, there was in that last round an opportunity for you to just move up with Jugs and just choose violence, do the triple E play, throw the Alehouse, move into him. Do you know who I am? The Alehouse for 5 damage, bump into him, do an 8 dice, and just win the game there if you're able to pick up the Legacy Virus. Is there a reason why you did not pursue that? And yes. I think the chat would be interested in that mindset.
Absolutely. So that was, you saw me think, probably took the longest turn. I probably took a minute or two. It was probably 2 minutes, maybe even 3 to consider it. And you saw me measuring. So I was trying to do the maths in my head of I've got 1 Juggernaut strike and a size 4 building throw. Sorry, so that's automatically 4 damage. Now, Corvus on average blocks 2 because he's -1, so automatically 4. He normally blocks 2, so that's on average 2 damage. So then I've got to push 4 damage through on a Juggernaut strike with a Wing in it token. It's not unreasonable. And then I've got to slide, and then I've got to pick up the Legacy. But it's dice related. So once he went with Black Cat, and then he couldn't do his game-winning play, he had to try and virtually 1-shot or 2-shot Juggernaut with Corvus. Now, he can probably max out around geez, I don't know, Jacob, what's the maths? It's probably 7 hits is pretty good. So the most you can really do to Juggernaut, I think, is around 6. Because I had -1, I'd probably get a couple of blocks. So I wasn't concerned about Corvus one-shotting Juggernaut. And the odds of him of getting the flurry and then getting him were still pretty low, I think. And even if he did that, I'm not sure he had the power to then pick them all up and win the game. So from my perspective, unless Corvus spiked through the roof, he wasn't doing one attack, one-shotting Juggernaut, or even maybe 2. So then I looked at the left side of the board and the points. I was sitting on 5 VPs in my head in Groot, Rocket, Juggernaut, because I had the last activation Juggernaut to throw him away just to get 3 VPs there. So really for me it was about, well, let's daze Kingpin if we can, and therefore he has to do a Hail Mary, and that's his only path to victory. So I'd rather him do the Hail Mary than me do the Hail Mary to win.
And that was just an absolutely great discipline, because Jared and I were saying in the chat, we would not have shown that discipline.
Yeah, do it. Do it now.
That's why we're not in the cut. Jay, do you have any other questions? Those were my 2 for each of them.
No, that's it for me, man. Xavier, I'd love to get you on for some commentating in some of the future cut games as well, man, if you're interested.
Yep, always happy to do that.
Awesome. But thank you for letting me stream it, guys. I'll dive out of here. I'll just def it myself, but I'm just gonna wrap up the stream and I'll come back.
Hey, Jay, before you go,
Yep.
I just want to thank Jacob for a wonderful game and a fantastic season. Jacob, going 6-0 in a really, really tough bracket is remarkable. Well done, and thank you for a great game, and thank you, Art, for judging.
Yeah, definitely thanks to Art. Judges definitely need the recognition. They do a great job.
Unsung heroes.
For sure.
And yeah, congratulations, Morgan. And now you have to go and win it, and then at least I feel a bit better.
That's true. You need to settle your beef with Pat, which means you need to win more leagues.
Pat's got the wood on me.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. All right, boys, I'm just going to def myself. I will be right back. All right, guys, going to wrap it up there. More Top Cut games to come. Going to definitely take a more active presence in the streaming it. Got some nice days off this week as well, where I can stream some American and European time slot games. So, yeah, should see more from me. Going to definitely bring up Xavier. He's always one of the best possible commentators to bring in on these games, because his knowledge of the game, as we talked about with, giving such a great answer on Jugs versus Voodoo as your priority kill target. You can see he definitely knows his stuff, right? So, yeah, gonna do a bit more. Did the tournament today as well. So if you're bored and you got some time this week, there's another 6 games going up on YouTube. So make sure you check those out. And what else? 23rd of April is the next Von Gaming tournament. So that one's based out of Australia. It's the final of the 3 leading into the Invitational. So if you're still sitting on the fence about that, that's your last chance. And that's it, guys. That's it for me. Should be back later in the week. Thanks very much for watching, and see you guys later on. Peace out.